Hello, witchy people. If you can hear any snorting noises, I swear it is just the dog. He's having a funny 5 minutes. Anyway, so I just wanted to come. I was going to go live, but I thought, no, I can't be bothered. If I went live, I could guarantee something would go wrong. So I'm just going to sit here and have a chat, and I'm going to have a chat about. I'm a bit fed up about how we seem to be having a very annoying dog. Barkley, stop it. How we're always talking about the negatives within our community and within paganism and witchcraft. So I thought I'd talk about my path, but also some of the good things that I like about paganism and witchcraft. Now, I haven't really thought about this, but I've got it in the back of my mind, so I kind of know what I'm going to say. And it's quite simple, she says. So, what I like about paganism is that, and witchcraft, is when you follow this path, you get to choose what works for you, and you get to build your path. And instead of with, I'm going to compare it to religion. Most religions, if you add what you want to it and change it in any way to suit yourself, you are lessening the power of that religion. You are almost desecrating that religion. What I like about being a witch is I can add to my own path what is best for me, what my instincts say are right for me, and instead of diminishing my path, it grows my path. And I think that goes for everyone. Even when it comes to what I call set paths and like the more religious states of witchcraft, such as being a druid perhaps, or being a Wiccan, which are more set, you still get to use your instinct and grow your path in the way it suits you. And that has got to be one of the most amazing things about the path that we follow. This spiritual filled life that just grows with us and allows us to make it our own. And that, I think, is wonderful. And when things like the negative stuff comes up, and things like, oh, you shouldn't be using plastics. Glitter is the latest one. You shouldn't use glitter because it's bad for the environment. And we think, I think because maybe we're, in one way or another, and many of us are quite artistic, we're very creative, so we can find other ways and other means to do things. We like to reuse and recycle. But like I said, no matter what we do, we are allowed to grow our own path. And I think that's amazing, because you make it truly your own, yet you are still part of this huge community. And for the most part, in my experience, especially as time has gone on, whether it's because I don't care so much now what other people think, you know, age does that to you, but no, I do believe that people are much more accepting and respectful of people with different ways of following our path. So that is probably one of the most amazing thing about witchcraft, is the way we're allowed to grow our own paths and our adaptability. Now, I'm going to put this in with it as well. I'm going to talk about my path and how it differs from quite a few, I suppose, different other witchcraft paths. I've often referred to hedge witchery as being the lazy witchcraft. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, I really don't. But it is very, very much, you don't have to draw circles, you don't need a wand, you don't need anything, you know. I mean, someone I was actually talking about this the other day. Someone asked me online, why on my shop, why are your wands not pointed? Why are they all rounded? And like this one, you see my wands, this is the handle end, this is the one, this is wild rose. My end is rounded. And they said, why are your wands not pointed? And I said, because this is an extension of my finger. Is my finger pointed? Okay, ignore the nail. Is my finger pointed? No, it's nicely rounded. So this is just an extension of my finger. This is just it's a tool that, as far as I'm concerned, you use to channel your energy into and through. Because having something to hold to channel your energy in is sometimes easier for people than trying to imagine the energy just coming out the end of your finger. So you imagine transferring the energy into the wand, and that's how it works. So I like that this kind of makes sense to me, you see. I know people like to have pointed wands and such like, but I don't really need a wand anyway, although I have several. But they are all from coppicing and pruning. None of it has been taken and destroyed the environment. They've been taken and enhanced the environment. So yeah, I'm quite green about that. I don't use anything. You know, like I wouldn't destroy a plant. I wouldn't grow a plant and then destroy it just for the herbs and the wood that it gave off. So anyway, we're talking about my path and how it differs. So, and I have heard this being talked about occasionally on some YouTube videos, and it's that you should never base your path on folklore, superstition, myth and old wives' tales. Folklore especially. And I do. But I don't accept folklore or superstition and old wives' tales, any of it, as the truth. I think it has a grain of truth in it, and you have to find that grain of truth to understand what the message is in folklore especially. And there have been a lot of things like superstitions and old wives' tales and folklore that I was just raised with, and my parents were raised with, well, my mum especially, and my grandparents were raised with, that science has proven to be correct. And one of the things that I always come back to is green potatoes. I was told never eat green potatoes if you're pregnant, because they're bad for you if you're pregnant. And it's something that I just took to heart. I mean, I had children very early. I was 16 when I was pregnant first time round, and very glad I did as well. Anyway, and my nan, do not eat green potatoes. You can't eat that. That's a green potato. So green potato skins are a huge no-no. And science has kind of caught up with that old wives' tale and proven it to be true. You shouldn't really eat green potatoes if you're pregnant. You shouldn't give them to your pets either. Dogs especially tend to like chewing potatoes, and it's quite good for their teeth, but never give them a green skin potato. So there you go. And, you know, I'm not saying that science is lagging behind. I'm just saying there are quite a few things within old wives' tales that science is rediscovering and saying, well, actually, yes, the basis of this is true. We may not know, as it being an old wives' tale or superstition or whatever, that it happens, you know, to hold that grain of truth. But science is saying, well, yes, actually, it was right. And that's another thing I really like about my personal path, is I was raised with a lot of like this mythology and folklore especially, and superstitions and old wives' tales, that because I was always told, don't take them as read, don't take them as full truth, but find local bikers, find that grain of truth and use that, because there is usually a grain of truth in many old sayings and folklore and such like. So yes, many people, I would say for most people, it's not a good thing to base your path on folklore and superstition and such like. But it's okay if you do. That is the foundation of my path that I follow. But I have to find the grain of truth in each item, in each story and saying and idiom and superstition and whatever it is I use. I have to find that grain of truth, and that way I know that it's not all nonsense. Like, it's just the way I was raised, with a lot of folklore, and I love that. And I love that because it's given me a niche, it's given me a place within witchcraft, and that's just perfect for me. And the fact that, like I said, for the most part my path is extremely different from many other people's, but I'm still accepted by most people. I'm going to say everyone, because everyone has different tastes and likes and dislikes different things. But so I wanted to explain a little bit about my path and folklore and how it is important to me, but it shouldn't be a basis for everyone's path. But that the path that we choose as witches allows us to grow our path with the changes we make, rather than diminish our path. And it doesn't lessen and diminish when we add our personality and what we need to it. Whereas with a lot of Abrahamic and further religions, it does. You can't change it. You can't pick and choose. So I think we're incredibly lucky in that way, that this is the path that suits us and it's right for us, and yet we can still change it and it's still right. There you go. I was just, like I said, I was fed up with all this, the negativity that seems to be. And yes, it is good talking points. Yet, it does make a good talking point. It's good to have discussions about these things that we have been having discussions about. But I don't like the negativity, and I think we need to have some more positivity and some nice things, and think about the nice things that we do and the good things about our path, rather than things that aren't maybe so good. So there you go. That's it. I've had a very, very long day. So I am going. It was my son's birthday yesterday. He's 33. I'm getting so old. And I will just quickly add this. I made some spell books. These are mini travelling spell books that you obviously fill in yourself. And they've got coffee stained pages that have been infused with vanilla oil. And the plate on the front, and three little ribbon markers inside. But they smell delicious. They are really lovely inside as well. So yeah, nice. And they are going to be put in sets, and they went really, really well. Now this isn't finished yet, and this is just the cover, but I still haven't finished it yet. My son said you have to make I'm not going to get it right, a Necronomicon, but he said make a Necrominicon, which is a mini Necronomicon. So there it is. And really, this light does not do it justice. And for my first attempt, I actually used air dry clay. So for my first attempt, it's not bad. So yeah, and this is, I'll put paper inside it and it will be my son's. Because he told me I had to do it, and it was his birthday, so I did it. So that's going to be my son's. But yeah, I thought they were fun. You know, it's just a fun thing. Anyway, and it gave me a chance to use up my air dry clay, because I've never used it. I've always found it to be very difficult to work with, but for this it was amazing. And I like the fact that like the books are all, it's like the covers are made, this is actually paper, and it's a handmade paper that I made myself. Anyway, so, and I love that I can do, because I think for many of us, like I said, many of us are very artistic and creative, so to be able to use that in our path, you know, and use it to enhance our path personally, is amazing. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, witchy people. I will be back soon. I have still got to finish the YouTube Pagan Challenge, and I'm covered in paint. Yeah, so I've still got to do that. This time last year I'd done it twice, and I'm not even halfway through this year's yet. But I have been very busy. I've had a busy life this year. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I will be back soon. Bye for now, witchy people.